Hi there, ho there, everyone. Welcome in. It is Wednesday Eve, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which means another episode of HERS, Herbal Entrepreneur Reporting Showcase. What a mouthful. You guys, we've been doing this, I want to say, just over a month now. And I couldn't be more excited with the turnout and how it's been going. And you guys, I'm extremely excited for tonight's guest. It's ALIBI Cannabis out in Oregon, and we've got Marianne with us. Welcome in, Marianne.
Hey, how are you today? So happy to be here.
Great. Thank you so much for making the time. I know it's a weird time of day for some people, depending on where you are in the country. So I like to just get started immediately. So tell us a little bit about Alibi, what you do, how many where
Yeah,
are you
thanks
in
for
Oregon?
asking.
Yeah, where are you in Oregon? Like how many? Yeah, all of it. We want to know all of it.
Yeah, so we're just outside of Portland, so we're an indoor farm. Oregon is kind of divided up into a couple different sections. So Southern Oregon has some really amazing outdoor farms that are the same microclimate as Northern California.
Oh,
So the
awesome.
Trinity area and Humboldt and all of that stuff, very similar to Southern Oregon. And a lot of awesome outdoor flower comes from there, but we're indoors, so we're a small craft indoor facility. We harvest every month, and so we focus on quality and just really coming out with some really amazing strains because we're able to turn a lot faster and really react to the market.
So you have the one facility currently.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome, awesome. And how long have you been a business, a brick and mortar?
Business since we got our license in 2007, which
Okay.
very beginning of Oregon legalizations. We were not the very first ones, but right in that first phase. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a ton of fun and a lot more work than I would ever have imagined. If somebody would have told me how much work it would have been, I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. But it's awesome, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
What did you do prior to cannabis?
I've done so many things. My bachelor's degree is in accounting, and I have an MBA. I've worked for a couple of um, top 100, S&P 100 companies doing finance, accounting, and looking at metrics and data. So
Okay.
did that for a long time. And then about 25 years ago, I started my own e-commerce company. So
Okay.
if you think back 25 years ago, it seems like such a long time. The world was very different back
It was.
then.
It was. There was hardly the internet was new.
These young kids don't know.
I know, right? Wow. So you kind of had
Yeah.
all the
So
business stuff.
it was a perfect opportunity. Started a website selling science kits. So we sold educational toys and science kits, chemistry sets. So if you wanted to buy a chemistry set for your kid or your grandkids or
Wow,
whoever,
I
you
remember
probably would have
those.
bought it from me.
Yeah, I remember what you're. I know
And
exactly what you're
um,
talking about.
yeah, it was before Amazon, and it was yeah.
That's crazy.
It was a much different world online, and it was a fun time to be there because we really had a lot more flexibility, and we could
Hmm.
do whatever we wanted.
Oh, so okay, so back then it was kind of like the wild, wild west then too with the
Mhm.
internet. Okay, I don't think about that, like,
And then ran that for about 10 years.
okay, that's awesome. So, I guess you really didn't
Oh,
now.
and even another blast from the past that, the young kids will understand is there was this whole Y2K thing. So, a lot of people or some people thought that the world was going to blow up at Y2K.
Yeah, that's great. And here you are selling the science kits too. That's hilarious and awesome. Um,
So,
so you had a lot of, okay, I think we are having problems. I'm hopping on here to see how bad it really
yeah, I've got
is.
some lag time hearing you.
Yeah, so do I. And no one is, it looks like there's folks here. So if you're out there, say hey there and let us know how horrible it is. or if it's not horrible.
Yeah, I've got some lag time here.
There's gonna be some lag, but I think we can work through it.
Yeah.
uh okay, so you were saying Wild Wild West, and now I have this whole other question about like I'm sure it didn't pertain to like when you were doing your science kits and stuff, but you were all saying how it was easier and different. So when you started like having or wanting to advertise cannabis online too, then like was it just completely different and challenging too between what you can say and all that stuff too? Like, or was it just evolution over time too? Like you didn't really think that it was that different from the beginning because it is such a different.
Yeah, I think it was so different in that it was a lot easier. There wasn't as much competition, and um, technology has changed so much now. So there's all the AI, and all of the websites are just a lot smarter. Back when we started
Oh,
with
right.
e-commerce, it was just a different, you could put up some keywords and have a nice title, and you would be on the first page of Google without a whole ton of work. But that's not the case now.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying now. That makes, yeah. I was like, how is that compared? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then too, like we are
Yeah.
always saying how we're making so
Yeah, I mean,
much,
now the way to get,
yeah, how we're making so many strides. What we're not really. I feel like we're also going
Mhm.
just as far backwards because you can't even talk about the plant either on like social medias and stuff. So,
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because, the way to really connect with customers online is with social. And with cannabis, it's almost impossible to actually have genuine conversations. So on the professional side, there's LinkedIn. And then for the customer side, the user perspective, there's Reddit, which is pretty good, but it's pretty specific. And then now you've introduced me to Twitch, so I'm going to give that a shot. But outside of those, everything else is locked down pretty hard. So it's
like,
it's really hard to build a community.
right, because you're always getting shadow banned. And what really stinks is that this is like medicine that's helping people, and it's getting proved every day. We're doing more science, more research. We're breaking down the plant with its cannabinoids and finding out that, you don't necessarily have to have the high and all that stuff. So it's really unfortunate that the man is, it's prohibition right now. So, kind of
Hmm.
why did you get into this? Had you always been a consumer of cannabis? What made you want to open your own dispensary?
Yeah, so it's a really interesting story, and we have a farm. We're not vertically integrated, so we have a farm and a brand,
Okay,
but we
okay.
don't have a dispensary.
Okay.
Um, but the reason I got into cannabis, yeah, no, cool. Was It's an interesting story. You know what? I've learned in talking with so many people in the business that it really is a personal thing, and everybody has a story. And mine is that about almost 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and so I went through the whole surgery, radiation, chemo, the whole works. And as part of the treatment, it's excruciating on your body. It's a terrible thing, and I would never wish that on anybody. But a friend gave me some cannabis and said, "Hey, why don't you try this? It might help." And so I did, and it helped. And I was like, "Whoa, this stuff is great. Why doesn't everybody do this?" And from then on, we were at a good spot in our lives where we're looking around trying to find the next opportunity, and we found some property, built the farm, got licensed, and here we are.
Had you ever like dabbled in growing before or really had tackled the plant in that kind of aspect before? And thank you
No,
for
I mean,
clarifying that. I really appreciate that you did that because that's really cool that you're like a grow. I thought you were at a dispensary. So do you only okay, so along with that question that too, do you only have one dispensary that you disperse to, or do you have like a chain that you disperse to?
yeah, we have a pretty good sales team, and we're in dispensaries all over the
Okay,
states.
cool.
Yeah, we've got pre-rolls, infused pre-rolls, and flower in pretty much. I mean, we're in every single region of the state and lots of chains. We do have a real time, just to plug our website a little bit, we do have a
Yeah.
real time store locator on our website that's updated real time. So if you're out in the Portland area or Oregon, you just want to know the closest dispensary, just type in your zip code and it'll tell you.
Yeah, you guys, for those of you who do want to find out more, check out that website. I also know that one of my viewers here really loves your logo, and I think he was contemplating on seeing about ordering one of your short shirts online too.
Oh
So,
yeah, we've
yeah.
got t-shirts and hoodies and all kinds of merch. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things. So I do want to take a second and thank Alibi too for coming on. And they are actually one of our top tier supporters of this show. So you will see their logo flash on throughout the night, as well as if you guys do, you should be able to go and do a exclamation point. Did I do it? I did. So if you go ahead and do explanation point alibi, you can go ahead and that will bring you to the link there. Also, if you go to my about page and click on the gorgeous fairy smoking, she will also bring you to alibi. So check it out. So yeah, so can you tell me about your like why alibi? Why the logo? Is it kind of go hand in hand with your story? Oh, did I lose you?
Sorry, you broke up.
Okay. So tell me about the branding and alibi. Why alibi? I love it. Are we still? Oh, I don't know if we're gonna have. Let's see here. Turning it off. I don't know why it's telling me no internet when there is internet. I don't know. Oh, it froze for like a really long time. No internet when there is. All right, you guys, if you can hear me out there right now, we did have a lot of technical difficulties this morning while we were streaming. I had already mentioned that this might be a problem tonight. It is not the internet, it is something in my computer, you guys. So, we're gonna go ahead and let's see here. Can you hear me, Marianne?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Woo! Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go on then.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna close my
Okay.
Twitch stream
Yeah,
like just to try to save some bandwidth on my end in case it's me.
I know, right? That's well, it keeps
So if there's
saying
any questions there, just let me know.
no worries. It keeps saying that that I don't have internet, which I know is a lie, but that's okay. So, I so I keep trying to ask about the branding and the
Mhm.
what how did you come up with alibi? Why alibi?
Yeah, it's business. We're trying to find a way to be fun and embrace like the female empowered and um just kind of have fun with it. Sometimes it's easy when you're thinking about branding to do something that is maybe not real or something that a consultant or a designer tells you is going to be fun. But I want to do something that was real and authentic and celebrate the beauty that each one of us women has inside of us. And I think the cannabis experience can bring that, right? It's that vision of a better world. It's that vision of the better you that you want to come out that maybe doesn't always come out, but you want to. And I think cannabis can do that. It makes you like for us, it helps, it just relaxes and makes you happy and better connected with your people. And so that's what this image represents to us. Her name is Mariposa, and so we have her whole backstory. She lives in the digital world, and we have a whole backstory for her that once the again we might launch with something there, but it's really just to celebrate the beauty that we have in each one of us.
I love that so much. That's such an awesome story and how fun. So like she based on a real person or is this a fictional character? Just a fictional?
Yeah, it's a fictional character. It was designed by a designer in LA. Yeah. Um, but and if you look online, if you look on her website, her wings flap and the smoke moves. So she's really captivating, and she's beautiful and sexy. And I just think that, she calls to women because this is the version of ourselves that could kind of come out, like the butterfly does, that, maybe you're stuck in your little cocoon and you want to come out and be beautiful and participate in that artsy life. And men love her, of course, because she's beautiful, and why not celebrate the beautiful feminine?
I was just gonna say you nailed it too, because like as you're saying all that, the person that actually said that they wanted the T-shirt is a male. So it's just like, not only did you do all that too, but obviously again, like you said, you knocked it out of the park with the. I just and I'm looking at her now that she's blown up and actually like on your background, I see her better and bigger. I don't know, I've had her forever, but I really do love the color scheme incorporated with her. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I didn't design it, but the artists are just have such an eye for for what it just calls to everybody, or calls to us. I mean, it may not call to everybody, but it's I think that's what art should do, right? Is to make you imagine and to make you dream of a better place or a different place. And
Right.
and then together we can make the world be that.
How big? So you're a boutique grow. Like, how big is your grow then, as far as like employees and stuff like that?
We're um we're a small craft grow, so our building, yeah. So we've got um, about 10 employees,
Oh wow.
and then a couple contract salespeople. We're a pretty small craft farm, but every plant gets individual attention and individual watering, and we try to focus on efficiencies, like to um, have things efficient when we can, and then have people do the things that people need to do. So it's we have a great team. Our head cultivator's a woman. Our cultivation team and our trimmers, it's about half women. So it's we very much live our values.
I'm gonna be very risky and go ahead and pull up this, hopefully it doesn't crash everything, but I'm gonna pull up your website just because, and cover your face a little bit for a second, but we'll still be able to hear you. I just think it's really nice to be able to see what we're talking about to hear you guys. Oh, there's music.
There is, you're right.
Ooh.
Yeah, look at the way. I mean, she's just, yeah. Yeah, she's beautiful. And then we've taken that same image and on our joint packs. We have the wings are foil, so they glisten in the sunlight.
Oh, that's fun branding and packaging. So here are some of the products, you guys. Very nice. So like, how many strains are you guys growing at one time in your small grow?
We have about 35 that we have in our mother room, and we try to harvest between 4 and 5 every month.
Oh, I love
So
it.
it's a whole process. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what you have. You have your pre rolls. You've got, ooh, these pink rose solvent ice hash looks really yummy.
They are.
What's your favorite that you grow?
My favorite is Durban.
Oh,
I
you're
love,
OG. That's OG for sure, yo.
yeah, it's classic. I'm real sensitive to the stuff that's really like heavy myrcene. It just puts me to sleep, and I mean, that's fine for some days, but I'm like, I like to function, and Durban does it for me.
That's awesome. Oh, I love these gummies. Okay, so how do you guys do your syrup? Oh, this looks good.
Yeah, we've got lots of stuff. We have a couple more products coming out this year too. So we have some flavored pre-rolls coming out, and some other infused ones. We have a pretty good product lineup coming out.
Awesome. So I did want to ask too. We were talking about on stream today about like cannabis culture and what it's like. So, like, honestly, here in Colorado, it's not the greatest for being recreational, being the first state to be rec, and we're just way behind, and we have horrible procedures. Companies are, closing doors every day. You hear how horrible the workers are treated here. I was just wondering, somebody said that like it's not too far off from your scene. I don't know. I know not necessarily you specifically, but what's it like? What's it like out there?
Yeah, we'll talk about the employee stuff first. There certainly are businesses that have gotten a reputation for not treating their employees fairly. And um, never want to do that in our business. So we offer health insurance, we offer vacation pay. Your employees are paid a living wage. So that's very much a commitment of ours. And it means that it's been a sacrifice. There have been years where it's been tough, but I would not want to shortchange the employees because that's really where it's at. So from the culture of the business perspective, that's what we start from is taking care of each other. And so that's real. To the second community, Oregon is really going backwards. It was, Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon were the first leaders in this, but Oregon has really just slipped because we don't have social consumption. So it's really difficult to have, say, a lounge space where you go and you're going to hang out and you're going to consume, or you want to have an event and you want to have consumption. It's very complicated and very difficult,
Okay.
and people get in trouble for it. So it makes it hard to want to put something like that on. And I think that's just so now the regulations are holding us back.
Okay. Hey, yellow fishnets, what's up? Welcome in. It's been real shady over here, just so you know. Worse than this morning. Almost like I might have to rebook you just so we can have another conversation down the road. Because I already have someone coming back. That the first one's coming back for that reason. And I'm more than happy to have you back on in a few months, in a couple weeks, whatever, so that we can have a nice smooth transition. And as this builds too, people will actually start making time to come see these again. So welcome in, you guys. We're talking to Mary Ann from ALIBI Cannabis. You guys, I'm gonna correct myself because I kept saying that they were a dispensary. They're not a dispensary. They are a boutique grow in Oregon. All they are available all over the state. So that is what's going on. I know for like the beginning of time I've been saying it wrong, so I'm going to clarify that a couple times throughout, because that is very different than dispensaries. If you're a consumer, yeah, we're just right now talking about it. You missed it, yellow fishnets. I threw you in there. I said that my viewers really like your logo. We already talked about the logo. You missed it. I'm sure we'll repeat it a little bit at the end, because again, people are flowing in and out. We're stoners. We'll repeat ourselves. So we'll touch about it again back here in a little bit. But also right now we are talking currently about the status of cannabis and what it's like in the state, the culture, the happenings. This morning, if you were watching, someone had in chat popped in chat and had mentioned, that they heard that or they've heard, because they were in Colorado, that Oregon shares a similar problem with us. And I am like over here. Marianne doesn't have me on right now, but I'm over here just like nodding and like I want to give her the snaps, because that is what's going on here. We are having problems because there's nowhere to consume it. Everybody gets in trouble. We have this one dispensary that is being well known for. They're the only one in the state doing it legally, which is really tough and hard. But they're also now known for calling out they're like they've been in trouble and stated that so it's just like it's also dividing community too when we're not doing this. And I don't yeah so it's really interesting to see that. Like, I didn't even know that, like, you guys, how similar there is, because there's no cannabis hospitality.
Yeah, it's really messed up, and I think Oregon had a chance to be a leader, but we've squandered it.
Right. And that's the same thing with Colorado too. I see these states that are getting more and more, like every state around all these, there's no state now where you're not touching a rec state, So it's like, why fly to Colorado or why fly to Oregon and try these products when their quality is going down? There's really nowhere you can't get, there's hardly any Airbnbs that you can go to. You can't go to an event. And even if you go to some cannabis event, you're not allowed to consume on property. You're not allowed to consume within a certain radius of the building. So it's really making no sense at all.
Yeah. And it really is just, like you said, it's dividing us again. Um, it's like other things. Oregon is kind of going backwards too with it's a little controversial, but with the hemp and the Delta 8, the Delta 9, the hemp derived stuff it's not legal in Oregon. And the cannabis purists are in favor of that. And I'm like, fine, you know, that's fine. You're welcome to have your opinion. We could talk about it. But I think the reality is that customers want a choice. And sadly, the government is taking away people's choices. And regardless of whether you want to consume it or not, that's back to the original question of prohibition,
Right.
is how much control do we want to yield to the government?
Exactly. And then there's the whole question about like when it does go, how long before the tobacco companies ruin it for us instantly. But so I really want to backtrack a little bit here to
Yeah.
backtrack here to saying, yeah, agree. I when we started with this Delta 9 and these hemps and pulling out these strains, like any purist was like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah. But now, like you said, people do want the choice. Monday's guest was Moonwalker, which is a hemp derived company out of Las Vegas, and
Mm.
I was talking to the affiliate, she lives here, so she came to the herbal chat, so we had her in studio, and I was like, why don't we ever like, I was asking her about like their revenue, and my mind was blown away. It's in the millions. And I was like, you don't see that here. Like here in Colorado, one, we have recreational weed. So you don't really see that. And two, you're not like, I think some of those products are actually not legal here in Colorado as well. So that's why. But you're right. People do want to see that because people don't want to get high. People do have specific things that they're trying to pull from this plant, and it is possible to do that. So we have to find a balance here soon before it all goes back to black market.
Yep, 100%. Yeah,
So
like
that's where you.
beverages. There was a new beverage. Yeah, there's a new beverage that launched this week that I wanted to try because they had some really cool flavors. But sadly, they can't ship to Oregon. Like, come on.
Oh no! Oh no! Bummer. Yeah. So okay. So,
Hmm.
were you born and raised in Oregon?
I grew up in Seattle, so
Okay.
just 3 hours north. So Pacific Northwest has been my home my whole life.
So do you know like anything like like Emerald Triangle? Like, do you have any like any not like what about like any knowledge, any stories?
Well, I do have an interesting story that's not from my childhood, but it's kind of from my family's childhood, which is
Ooh.
it kind of goes way back, but it's interesting. I need to get some more facts from my mom, but I was raised really conservative Christian, went to church schools my whole life. There was no drinking, there was no coffee, there was no caffeine, living the pure life. Your body is God's temple. And um, so there's a whole story around that. But then when I finally told my parents that I was growing weed, they were like, "Oh, cool." And my mom said that our family, who was originally from Italy, that the kids, so my grandfather used to go in the fields up in the mountains, and the kids were not allowed to go there because they would kind of get a headache or they'd come back feeling funny. And so I'm pretty sure that the legend is that my family was growing up in the mountains of Italy couple generations ago. And I just think that is so cool. I need to find out more information, but it's like what a cool thing to have that as part of your family history.
That's really cool. I can relate with that. Like really growing up really conservative Catholic, no alcohol in the house, and I have a family lore to Al Capone, so I understand that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh. Um, so do you remember like so you okay, so did you consume really before you got diagnosed or not at all? Oh.
Do I win?
Did you consume cannabis before you got diagnosed or was like your diagnose no, it wasn't okay.
No. I mean, I think I tried it once as a teenager, just, behind the garage experimenting, but it was never part of my life.
Right.
I kind of wish it was, but then, you can't change your path.
Right.
But so I've chosen to have a different conversation with my kids than what I had. So that's, we're changing the world.
So you have
One
kids.
one
I
one
always like
conversation.
I like always asking this question too because it's always so interesting to see how everybody handles it. So how old are your kids and like kind of what cuz especially being in the industry, how do you handle that?
Yes. Yeah, so I have two girls and they're 20 and 22. And so they've of course, grown up in Oregon where drugs and weed and all, even really hardcore scary stuff is fairly commonplace. The high school that they went to was nicknamed the pharmacy.
Oh,
So we had lots of conversations about drugs that you don't do. No needles. I don't care what it is. No needles, no pills. But the as soon as we told my family that we were growing cannabis, my kids were like, "Mom, we knew." So, they're smarter than we give them credit for.
right.
But it's for me, it's just like anything, right? It's a conversation about the balance. And I have absolutely no problem with plant medicine. I think that there's a lot of unknown things yet about mental health and how it can help with depression and anxiety. And my girls went through high school during COVID, so we've got our fair share of issues, and I'm just glad that it's an option.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So I don't have kids, so that's why I'm always interested to see how folks handle it, you know. So they were pretty they're in their 20s, so they were like teens when you got into this and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and it's hard because yeah, the rules here are that they can't come on the farm until they're 21. So it's kind of a bummer because I wish that we would have, you know, I wish that they could have been part of everything there. But so as soon as they're 21, they get their handler's license and they can come help out and, work in the family business.
right. But it would have been fun to have like little barefoot hippie memories of running.
Hmm.
So do you see yourself like doing any expansion anytime or do you think you're just going to keep it to the one grow very small?
We are working on expanding. That's what the goal is for this year. We're working on finding licensing deals in other states.
Oh,
So,
nice.
you see our branding, and I would love to be able to take our branding and our imagery and our story to other states. So, I was on the East Coast last week making connections and networking, and we hope to be in another state or two by the end of the year.
Sorry about that, you guys. Distractions. So another fun fact to doing this. Oh my gosh. 1 second. It's not the music. It's the arrival of the band. um.
It's okay.
So
My cat was roaming around my desk right before, and I was like, "No, you have to get off. I have to be able to see my screen."
the worst. The Okay, so another fun thing too is that we last week on hers, I just had somebody else who was in Colorado, and they are a small solventless like company, and they just franchised from Colorado to Nevada. So yeah, it's really cool to have all these like independently owned companies and see where they're going and what they're doing and learning so much from all of them.
Yeah, for sure. It's an exciting time. It's hard because the banking issues and the 280E issues and the all of the taxes and all that. But those of us who have figured out a way to survive, we're 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 poised to expand, and I'm really excited about the future. I think this is the year of growth.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. So it's 420 week for you. Any big events or are you guys doing pop-ups? What do you guys do?
We're doing all of that. Yeah. We've got a pop-up at dispensary chain here called Nectar. So we're gonna do a pop-up there Friday night. And then Saturday we're sponsoring two parties. There's one downtown um that's a 420 event downtown. And then the big one that I'm gonna be at is the Whalers are coming to town. So we're also
Ooh,
sponsoring that one. A
nice.
huge, massive 12-hour celebration of cannabis headlining with the Whalers. So I'm so excited about that.
That sounds awesome. Hey there, hi there, ho there, you guys. If you're out there, say hey there.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. We love questions. We've got Alibi Cannabis on with us tonight. They are a boutique grow out in Oregon. If you guys are out there at the West Coast, shout out to let us know. We often have maybe one or two on that side of the country and Canada. So if you guys go down and visit there, make sure you check them out. They're in a bunch of dispensaries out there. They're going to be expanding too, so keep your eye out for that. It's the year this year. Um, and if you guys, like I said, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're talking about cannabis culture in Oregon. Anything you guys want to know. They have several products on the market. We talked about their logo a little bit, just how it's just encapsulate femininity, sure. So yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to touch that I haven't brought up or talked about that you'd really like to get out to folks? Again, this is going to be available on YouTube and
I mean,
tnmnews.com.
I think we've talked about a lot. There's so many things yeah.
Huge leg. Uh oh. Did I lose you?
Sorry, I lost you there for a
No
second.
worries. I was just saying if there's anything that I've missed that you want to talk about, that you want to hit on. There's also a platform for you folks too that are on here. It's all about you. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to talk to people and share our message. I guess one thing that I'm always excited about is the new things that are coming in terms of education and knowledge. So, I just encourage people if there's certain strains you like, figure out why you like that and how that makes you feel and to make it a better experience so that you can find what works best for your body. And hopefully you find a grower that grows it. If you're in Oregon, hopefully that's us, but there's plenty of awesome growers in other states and around the nation. And I just encourage you to listen to your body and find something that works for you.
I'm gonna come back to that yellowfishes. I'll have her touch on that logo
Ooh,
again.
and somebody posted,
Yeah. So I'll have her, but I also before we do talk about the logo again, I want to talk about like in Oregon. What so here it's all like folks who don't really like I don't know folks who aren't as knowledgeable about cannabis might only want to jump to high percentages and stuff. And we're talking about like in Oklahoma, you have to have the terpene profile on the packaging now, and here you don't have to have that. We just have indica, sativa, the name, a few other things, but like the big ones are like, and the percentage. Do you what's it like in Oregon? Are you guys still everybody hard hitting for the percentage, or are we realizing that it's about the look and the terpenes more?
Yeah, Oregon's the same way. Sadly, if something is less than 25% THC, it's really difficult to sell.
Mm.
And that's kind of what I encourage for people to pay attention what works for you, because when people do blind taste test, um, almost entirely they will choose something with lower THC. It makes them feel better. But um, but that's not what sells. So there's this huge disconnect behind, what is probably good for you and then what people end up buying. And so yeah, we've chosen on our pre-rolls, it's not required in Oregon to put your terpenes, but we've been doing it for over a year because I really think that that's valuable information. And me as a consumer, I wouldn't want to buy something and not know what the terpenes are. So we put the same information on there for our customers. So trying in our little way to advance that conversation and have people pay attention to terpenes and not just THC percentage, which is a whole nother game and it's a whole nother problem, but we're not going to
Right.
solve
So,
tonight.
right. Oh, okay. So here, just really quick, like an eye opener. Is it tested kind of the same way where like you have this huge batch and you only test one little nug, and then we all know about like, it's just one little nug from this whole thing. Is that kind of how you guys are testing too there?
Yeah, we have up to 50-pound batches. But it's not even the sampling that's the problem. It's just the fact that, if you take a nug from the top of the plant compared to the bottom of the plant, it's not going to be the
Totally
same.
different.
So, and then if it sits in the bag for a couple weeks, it's going to degrade. It's not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, there's people who try to game the system, and it's just a mess. I think THC percentage should not even be part of compliance testing because I think it is so wrong and it's so messed up and it creates a
Right.
bad result.
Because
But
essentially you have people,
who am I?
right, right. But because if with these percentages, and that's also, it's not helping stigmatize the image, because now that we have these, people want these heavy things. So in folks who don't understand it, you can compare it to an alcohol percentage, So oftentimes, like you said, they're going for too hard of a hit, and it is sedating them more or medicating them more than their body needs. So again, that's not helping with the stigma. So I totally agree with you that we need to educate people. People just need to get educated, and then that's what we're doing here. So I really appreciate you taking the time. These will be available again, you guys. I'm saying it here in case you watch this rerun, in case you see it somewhere else. Really go back and take a look at some of those other hers, you guys. They've all been so freaking educational, so wonderful, talking with all these women and hearing their stories and seeing their companies, and seeing what they're really trying. Like there are so many folks like me, like out there. Like I feel like all these people are trying to bring and eliminate the stigma as well. They all want to upscale cannabis more than it is currently. So I really appreciate that. And again, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out and taking the time and dealing with the lag and dealing with the computer issues. And we've been streaming now for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to, hey, Yellowfish Nets, if you're still out there, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by this morning. Also, yeah, so Yellowfish Nets is like the one who's like, I gotta get a T-shirt or I gotta get something, because he's talking about your logo. So if you want to go ahead and just tell us again about the logo and what's up, Kay? Welcome in. Thanks for happening in, you guys. It is my third affiliate anniversary too. So this morning we did do a giveaway, and now we're celebrating with hers. So yeah, we're going to talk about this Alibi Cannabis logo right now.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful logo. Her name is Mary Posa, so her smoke moves, and she's the beauty that exists in all of us. Like a little cocoon, just sometimes maybe hidden by the stress and the anxiety and the things that we have to deal with as people. But hopefully, cannabis inspires that beauty that's inside of you to come and burst out and share that with the world. So that's what she represents, and that's what we try to bring to people. Is we try to bring a great experience that celebrates the beauty and the art that is inside each one of us, and makes this world a better place. Ultimately, that's what I think cannabis can do. Is it, if we can stop focusing on all the bad stuff for a minute and find something good and beautiful.
Can you mention her name again and like a little bit of her like she's an actual character, you guys.
Yeah, so her backstory, like, we talked a little bit about my plans for hopefully in the future with, if the NFT and digital space takes off again. You imagine that smoky bar, little piano in the corner, somebody playing some jazz, she'll walk up and maybe sing some songs or whatever, but that's kind of the vibe. And it's like cool when you just want to hang out with her and just relax and chill and talk about good things.
You guys, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna pull up the website really quick because check and put it over your face again. Because check it out. Okay, when you go to the homepage, look at it, and there's music, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't she beautiful?
Right? So yeah, so check it out, you
And I'll
guys.
get you a t-shirt or a hoodie.
Oh, that's so kind. And also, like,
Mhm.
if you also ever want to do giveaways too, we love doing giveaways here. So, also, like I
Oh
said,
yeah, I've
so
got we can do t-shirt or hoodie, or the really cool thing that I have is also a giveaway.
yes,
Oh God.
nice. So yeah, anytime. I'd like yeah, and all like I said, we do sometimes have folks in like I said, Oregon or travelers too, right? So, I'm excited. Thank you again for joining us tonight, Marianne.
Absolutely. It's been so much fun.
All right, you guys, let's see here. We've got about 40 minutes left. If you're out there, say hey there. If you want to ask any questions, feel free. Kind of what we've been talking about today. Marianne has children, so we've kind of touched that again. I like how she approached the whole having kids and working in the industry. We've talked about how actually Colorado and Oregon are similar in yeah, lots of praise on the website there. The website is awesome. Some beautiful plants there. We also talked about earlier, somebody chimed in this morning on chat saying that, the cannabis culture there was kind of similar to here. And I kind of like shut him down because I was like, I didn't want to hear that about Oregon. You think it's so beautiful and it's so like liberal. And then it is. It's kind of like they have the same problem that we have here. Consumption, public consumption, cannabis hospitality is not really a thing. So, would you say too that your prices are more like what are your prices like? We're finding that like taxes and between taxes and quality and how long it's been on the shelf, all these factors in are pushing them again to go use black market. So what's price like and quality?
Yeah, so it's that's a great question. We specifically try to position ourselves in the middle shelf. We're top
Oh,
shelf
nice.
quality, but it's like going to the jewelry store, or it's not everybody that can afford like the most expensive stuff, and it just sits there. And for me, I would rather get our cannabis in the hands of consumers. So we price it more mid shelf, but it's top shelf quality. So it's really finding that sweet spot of getting it affordable so that anybody can afford it, because that's, to me, that's what it's about. It's not, it's for us, we're not trying to be some exclusive high end, oh, you've got to spend, your last dollar on it. That's not the point of cannabis. For us, the point is to consume it so that you have that experience, and hopefully that experience helps you have a better day.
Right. Okay, so Kay says there are so many half-baked kind of like the 1992 um, dispo websites for the places here. It's nice to see someone put effort into it instead of just cutting and pasting from stock. Oh, that's nice. What a nice compliment. Kate, remind us where you're from again. Where are you from? Where are you hanging out from? Where's everyone from in chat? What's up? Get in here. If you're out there, say hey there. Where are you from? What are you smoking on? How is your day going, you guys? Thanks for stopping by Illinois. Yep. Okay, cool. Right? Well, okay, so and I kept saying that they were a dispensary and my bad. They're actually a boutique grow. So, do you just want to go ahead? It's kind of that time where we're kind of getting everybody in again or a new round. So, if you want to go ahead and kind of just tell us about Alibi Cannabis and how long you've been around and what prompted the start of this and start from the beginning again.
Yeah. So we've been around since 2017, which is, they say that every year in cannabis is like a, dog years. So it's it feels like forever, but it's a ton of fun. And we've seen the industry grow from really just a concept and just a dream to where we are today, which is, it's more than just a dream, it's a real business, but there's still a lot of work we have to do. And I got started into cannabis because I had cancer, and it was it's not anything that I would wish on anybody, but it was fortunate that it was a time in my life where I was able to take a break from work. So I took about a year off and focused on my healing. My kids, my husband were all gathered around, and we just did what we needed to do. And through that process, I had a friend give me some RSO, and I was not a big consumer before. Of course, I knew about it, and there was, I had some assumptions about how it worked, but didn't really know. And um, through this introduction from a friend, I learned this whole underground healing network. At least here in Oregon, people, and I'm sure it's the same in other states. Before it was legal, people would grow and help, like purely from a medical standpoint. Like, this is the originations of the whole medical cannabis side, is they're healers. And so I had a friend give me a jar of RSO, which, looking back now, I'm like, wow, how generous was that? This is like complete generosity. I offered to pay for it, they wouldn't take it. They said just pass it on and share the love. And so that's what I'm doing today, is passing on that message of healing, and really believing that we can improve our lives, just from a social perspective, and being able to have more real interactions, a little bit more genuine conversations. But then also from the purely medical side, there's so many things we don't know yet about how it can heal cancer and help with depression and anxiety and all of that. And I'm here for that. And I want, that's why we grow top quality products, because me coming from it, as a medical patient, I don't want to put crap in my body. And so if I don't want to put it in my body, why would I sell it to you? So we have high quality standards, and we always try to do what's right. And I think that shows. And that's why we've been around for such a long time and have developed a reputation as an iconic brand out of Oregon.
I love it. Again, you guys, I just want to take another minute to thank all the women, not just Marianne tonight, but everyone who's taken the time and have had these genuine conversations with me. I really hope that you do take a time, and if you guys are enjoying tonight's show, please go ahead and share it. Tell someone, send them to the YouTube channel. It all helps. Again, this channel is about visibility through education and entertainment. So I love your approach to your customers and your employees. It's the way it should be. Yeah, it sounds like they're doing what's right. And that's the thing too. It's like I just took on this I've been a bartender forever, and I've been in all kinds of in all kinds of different fucking scenes too. I've been craft, I've been high volume, I've been dive. I've been it all. Corporate too. So I just recently found this gig with this gentleman who does this mixology class, and it's like honestly the most that I've been getting paid for something like this in a really long time. And guess what? He has little turnaround. He has, he like it's about employers who get it and understand that employees just want to make a living wage. They do want to go do their job, but they need to be compensated for it. And so when you find an employer like that, like yourself, I think that's a real gem, like a gem of a thing. And, if everybody had that concept, everyone would be honestly a little bit more happier, that where we would see an increase in life so much. So
Yeah, and one thing, I mean, I'll tell you here first. I mean, my employees don't even know this yet, but in a couple of weeks, we're rolling out a new benefit for them that's free to them. It's counseling and mental health services and access to a bunch of preventive healthcare stuff because I believe so much in that. So, um, like I said, we haven't announced it yet, so you heard it first, but I'm really excited to be able to do what we can. It's hard because of the tax situation. I mean,
right.
we're taxed way, more than double what any other regular business is. So it makes it hard, but to me the investment's worth it.
So here's a question that, like, without getting too into it, but this is always a question, and especially with an election year going down, I've been asked this question a lot. What do you see, like, the Fed law changing, or cannabis getting, federally recognized, or at least the banking situation changing? And do you see any of that happening in our lifetime soon? When?
I have no idea.
I know.
For the longest time, I used to say that when Biden left office, that he would do it as his kind of swan song, the last thing he would do. Um, I still have hopes that that might happen, but I have no insight. And I think the world is such a complicated place that we really don't know.
Right.
And it's all about the money, right? So you got to follow the money. And I mean, I hope so because there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of negativity still that it's really hard to be a business owner because there's so many rules and so much stuff. So you have to be in it. Yeah, it has to be a passion for you. Just wanting to be here for the money, we would have given up years ago.
Right. Dude, I really appreciate that answer to that question. That was so very I mean, it was diplomatic, it was like on point, and it was true, right? Because like it was the truest answer. Everyone has had, like, some people have had guesstimates, but like that's a really true answer. All right, here you guys go. What's up, chat? Let's go. Okay, it is very hard to find incentive as a employee when you're not treated as a corporate number. Exactly. So to find someone who's actually investing in their people is refreshing. Again, if you want to see people investing, go back and watch these women-owned business episodes, you guys. It's the women, changing, making shit happen. Sorry, just how it is. It is. Everyone benefits. What you announced is great and so needed. I know I got goosebumps. So thanks for sharing some fun news with us on stream. And if any of your employees did happen to hop on, yo, what's up? That's awesome.
Now they know.
Right? That's so funny. They got the insider. All
Yeah.
right, you guys. Yeah. So, and again, it's just been really great. Again, if you do tune into these, we do hit a lot of the same topic, and we do say a lot of the same stuff, but it's so awesome to see it's awesome to see that we're all saying the same stuff, because we're all from all over the world, all over the country right now, and world and chat. I'm hoping to get some international women business owners on here. So if you're international and you want to talk
Oh, I
about
got
your
a hookup for you if you want
Oh
one.
yeah, I do want one. Get in my inbox later. I would love it. I would love it. Thank you. So yeah, because we can
Yeah,
do
I'll
this.
I'll, I'll connect you.
We can do this. We can do this all over, you know. So, and again, these will be able to be caught somewhere else. Um, Part of why I left the growing business for profit is because of terrible wages and just the ass backwards treatment of the employees and their patients. So we see that in every state. Then you see it all across the country. You got it in Illinois. You got it in Colorado. You got it in Oregon. I'm sure it's everywhere. So why are they getting treated like? For how hard it is to get a cannabis business, for how licensed it is, how fucked up
Hmm.
everything is, why on God,
That's
like,
one thing that
yeah, why would you go ahead and be an asshole to your employees once you had to fight so hard to get there?
hmm Well, I think that's one thing that sets us apart. Oregon is really a craft. Or everything is craft and handcrafted, and so many other states are dominated by huge corporations. So corporate cannabis is a real thing, but fortunately not in Oregon. And we don't have any outside investors, so I don't have people that I have to answer to in terms of the bottom line or this or that or the other thing. Whereas other companies do. If you're a publicly traded company or you have investors who are expecting returns in a certain way, I think you then make decisions. You have to make decisions for your investors, not what's right for your business.
Or
And so it's
why you
it's a very
initially went
different
into it, yeah.
mentality. And yeah, so that's why we're small. I want to, it's easier to control and it's easier to try to do the right thing when it's just us.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear. Um, You guys, I'm so excited. I told Marianne when she came on that I was just really excited. She's one of the first ones I've spoke with when I was starting this, and I'm really glad that we got her in. We had to change dates. But it was a little bit of a thing getting this rolling off and going, but it's happening now, and I would love to have you back on sometime again when I figure out all the glitches, you guys. And for those of you who have seen the ones in the past, we do have the internet upgrade. So it's not the internet because the internet is running fine. It's something else because this morning we were streaming my 3 year affiliate anniversary stream and it was not having it either this morning. So we're going to take a couple days, figure it out, and hopefully we'll be back better than ever. But thanks for hanging out and thanks for riding the ride tonight, you guys, and doing the thing. Um, Again, chat, you've been awesome. You've been adding some cool insight. So thank you so much. Let's see here. Let's see. Everyone benefits. Let's see. Part of why you left the grow business. I saw some. There was more. Hang on. Okay. The worst part is once one company finds another company's model, they can copy it. Yeah, and bang. Yeah, exactly, and change it so they get the most bang for the buck. The quality goes to shit because no one cares, and that's what's really happening too. Is that like you know some of these states are taking Colorado being the first rec state. They're taking our platform and like either following it or making it making it better. So yeah, with how bad Colorado is, and if you guys were hanging out, I did ask what the culture was like there. It seems like it's very similar, so that's upsetting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the thing we haven't really touched on is just the regulations. And I don't remember what Colorado uses for its track and trace, but um, people who are not in the industry every day don't realize the amount of work and the amount of overhead and regulation that goes into getting the cannabis on the shelf for you.
Yeah, will you
And
explain that a little bit for as if no one has ever, because yeah, that's something we don't really talk about, the metric system and how you have to get stuff off and on the shelf. So if you could just go ahead and give us like a basic dumbed down version of that, that'd be awesome.
yeah, so at the grow side, what we have to do is every plant has to have an RFID tag. So we have a lot of labor and a lot of tracking that goes into making sure that we have tags on every plant. And then in the state's computer system, we have to say the location of the plant, like which room it's in, and what the status of it is, if it's flowering or veg. And then when we harvest, we have to go through each plant and weigh them and say what the weight of each plant was to create the harvest batch. And then once that's done and it's dried and cured and hand trimmed, because we only hand trim, we have to weigh each package and get all of those weights accurate, get those all tagged with a different RFID tag, keep everything separated so that it's all done the right way. And then we have to put everything on a manifest if we want to take it to, say, after it's tested, if we have a sale, we take it to a shop. There's rules about um, each tag and each manifest. It can only be gone for 60 hours. So, like, let's say you have a traveling salesperson. Oregon's a huge state. I mean, Colorado is too. So it takes hours. You can drive for 5 hours and still not be at the end of the state. So if you're a traveling salesperson who has a week-long trip, you have to leave. All the product has to be back that's unsold has to be back to the farm within 60 hours. So that's a lot of stuff you've got to get done in a short amount of time. So it's rules like that that make it really difficult to operate a business and that go to increase the cost. And it doesn't actually make a better product. It doesn't add anything to safety. It doesn't
It
change,
doesn't make
make it at all
sense.
better for customers.
They just,
It
yeah,
just makes it easier.
they
Yeah,
they
makes no
they
sense.
just want to babysit that weed. They don't, yeah, they just want to know where every single drop of it is, which is crazy.
It's a plant that grows in the weed, in the
Right.
outside. It's insane.
It is insane. So, wow. Thanks for, I don't know how many of you knew that about, it's similar. I'm sure there's different regulations, but that's very similar to how it is here too. Um, let's see here. What did I say? Hang on here. Yeah,
Yeah, and
the,
that's
go ahead.
that's why we have such a thriving black market still. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've made the investment to be part of the regulated market, but it's hard.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's just so much. This is for sure the time of prohibition for cannabis. Who knows where it's gonna go? And it's like these hemp companies, and there's lots of loopholes too. So like these hemp companies that are selling products like THCA and getting away, there's they got that loophole, which is basically weed.
And the sad thing is I'm all like we talked before, I'm all for people. Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for people having options, like all the hemp derived stuff. I think there's a market for it. Clearly, there's a market for it because it sells, but it's just states are now trying to regulate that. And I think that instead of trying to add more regulations, we should be having less regulations because cannabis doesn't harm anybody. And you compare it to alcohol.
Right.
Alcohol, definitely harms you. There's empirical evidence to show that alcohol is bad for you. And yet it is less regulated than cannabis, whereas cannabis has never killed anybody. So it just makes no sense.
I know. It's like every week I have these conversations and I'm like, oh, it just makes less sense the more people that you talk to and the more benefit that it's giving to it's making folks' lives manageable, and I don't know. It's just again way better than alcohol, like you said. There no one's ever died from it. The health effects, the
Mhm.
man's drugs, alcohol,
Yep.
coffee,
Follow
yeah,
the money for tax revenue.
cigarettes, yep, food, sugar, processed sugar. Like they got us where they want us, and then like I said, and too when it does become legal, they're just gonna swoop right in and ruin it for us. So it's like, what the heck? with less regulation brings more people who would be involved if the red tape wasn't involved, which turns weed out to be shithead companies. That's true too. There needs to be like, thanks Kay, there needs to be a happy medium, like less regulations, like as far as maybe consumption. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think like, do you mean overall, or do you just think consumption and being able like public eye, or overall like to get into the industry too? I wouldn't mind if regulations were pulled back to get into the industry as well.
Yeah, I think they should just be pulled back entirely. I think it's completely ridiculous, but that's not going to happen. So I think it's important for the industry to come together and actually have a rational plan, because just, railing against the man isn't going to fix it. It might make you feel good and it might release some pressure, but I think it's important to have an actual rational conversation about how we can get there,
Right. And I
because people
think,
are still afraid.
and I,
And
yeah,
until that happens,
there needs to be community too, more community overall in the whole industry as a whole.
100%.
So, yeah, for what it's gone through, there should just be a better attitude around it altogether. For being a bunch of like, the plant is medicinal and relaxes you. So chill out, man.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because when with capitalism, or just in business in general, people often think that it's like a dog eat dog world where I'm competing with you for these limited dollars, right? So if you come into business, especially cannabis business like that, where you treat, like if I treated every other farmer as a competitor, I wouldn't like the person that I would turn into. Because it's like we're competing for the same amount. But I come at it with an attitude of abundance, of we all have enough and we can all share, and let's just bring more. So there's enough for everybody. And so we can collaborate and work together, as opposed to fighting with each other over the scraps. I think it's a very different mentality, and it's a different way of thinking about business, but that's the way I choose to think about it. Is there's plenty for everybody, so let's work together.
Right? I think so too. I think
Hmm.
so. I think too, like what we need to do is just, I think if the educate the masses. If more people were educated on the benefits of it, if more people understood, we just have like, we still have all the propaganda, like reefer madness. We have propaganda from the Reagan, like from administration past. Like it's just, if we were just, I don't know, that even stems from my era. I'm going to be almost 40, and we had dare growing up, that cannabis was the gateway drug. And it starts with eradicating the word marijuana out of like, just get rid of that word. That word is pure propaganda to make cannabis have a bad, that's the bad face for cannabis. That's the slang word. That's the worst word for cannabis. Okay, what did you say, Kay? The saddest part about it is the amount of genetic material loss that we could be using to treat more than just getting the strongest highs. Exactly, like that's what we're saying is like there, she was mentioning how like the purists want to keep, all these hemp derived companies out of Oregon because they do, just leave it. But there's so many, once you pick apart the plant, there's so many medicinal purposes for it, and you don't necessarily have to get high. There's just so many health benefits for it.
Yeah, and also, mhm. I think the other thing about that comment is it's really insightful, because like we said before, if a plant tests less than 25% THC, we virtually cannot sell it. So we have thrown away plants that are, genetics that are like test at 15%, 18%. And they may be wonderful plants that have amazing things, amazing flavors, really cool stuff that works for so many things. But sadly, because it doesn't hit that number, it's not commercially viable. And, at the end of the day, I'm a business, so I don't have space to keep all the cool stuff that I would want to just keep because. And so, it's a very real thing. And if everybody does that, then over time we have lost these genetics that could be really impactful, but sadly they're gone.
And that's true. I never think about that too, and that is a true loss, dude. Because we are already seeing that genetics are getting so twisted that is there really a sativa or a hybrid or a sativa or indica anymore? Because we've gone and we've crossed them and So again, it just goes back to it's about the visualization of the plant, how it calls to you, how the terpenes call to you. Yellowfish Nuts has said several times tonight already that he really loves the approach and the attitude. Again, I want to say that I have said last week, and we also had a like a life coach on, and she's coming back on again soon, week or two maybe. She's coming back on, but I have said in the past that a lot of these kind of female owned companies with this cannabis plant, with this female, relationship between the plant and woman, uh, that a lot of these kind of do have like a mystical, magical, like little aspect to them, whether it be intentional or not. Like last week, I said it was very green witch to me, and she said that, oh yeah, if you've noticed, we even have the third eye in our logo highlighted. So that was cool. And then again today, I'm hearing a lot of manifestation techniques here being brought up, which is also, we've got the fairy too in the logo. So again, you guys, it's just that one with nature, one with manifesting like the universe and cooperating. And that's really, this plant is really embodying that like nurturing community. Because if you look back in time, this plant has been used sacramentally for that purpose, for gathering. So it's amazing. And here we are doing that kind of stuff, but in a distance, in my opinion, too. Would you like to tell us anything else right now about Alibi? Do you have anything coming up? Anything exciting? You dropped some cool news for your employees on us. That was fun. Thanks for sharing that. We really appreciate. I mean, it doesn't affect us directly, but we appreciate it. The chats appreciates what you're doing. Like that's awesome. Kudos to you for, you know, standing out, holding yourself up to higher standards, and yeah, and being on here and sharing that with us. So
For sure. I'm happy to. I love talking. One thing is that, there's people on here from all over the country. And I think it's important to just ask questions and be educated about where your cannabis comes from. Figure out, ask who the farm is, get to know them because, in the grocery store, there's the organic.
I hope that they got back on. Let's see here. Chad's been awesome. Usually, also too. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see here. Insane, strain, stage C. It's working again now. Okay, cool, awesome. Thanks, chat. I don't know what you guys caught of that. And if you guys chat, if you guys want to, whatever you missed, if you caught a little bit of it and want to like kind of backtrack and let us know what you had caught and what you didn't catch. But we'll move forward, which is unfortunate because I don't remember what we were talking about. And when it came back, it was good.
That's the way it goes.
I know, right? So you guys, again, this is hers herbal entrepreneurship reporting showcase. Oh, super! When she was talking about supermarkets, and we were talking about like just ask your grower, know your grower. Education's really important. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, because remediation, this is, if we have a second, I'll just
yeah.
talk about remediation. So a lot of people, there's a lot of states like Massachusetts, for example, where virtually all the cannabis that's on the shelf has been remediated. And what that means is that it's been either run through an ozone machine, or it's been subjected to radiation, or various things that kill. The idea is that it kills any mold and any mycotoxins that might be on it. But the thing is it also kills, changes the cannabinoids and changes the cannabis so that it's not as I was going to say as pretty and as beautiful and as good as it would have been already. It's kind of makes it dry and crumbly and blah.
Right.
So, so what we found in Oregon is that the people the growers who are committed to growing quality don't have to remediate. And so that's a really good question for you to ask and to know your grower
Right.
so that you can find out like, okay, is this actually high quality cannabis? And it may be top shelf, you may have to pay more, but you might also not. It's, like I said before, ours is priced for the middle shelf because I want it to be available to anybody.
Also,
And
yeah.
we don't ever remediate ours. We don't have to because we have a clean grow and we do good stuff. So just ask those questions and find out so that you know what you're putting in your body.
And yeah, and when you're growing or when you're purchasing that better quality stuff, that cleaner stuff, you don't necessarily have to smoke as much of it either or consume as much of it either. So even if it might be a little bit more expensive, you'll realize the difference in your consumption. And also here, they're spraying stuff. They're spraying like garlic scent, they're using tricks and trades too to get stuff through here too. So just like again, beware of those mass
Mhm.
dispensaries. I mean, you want to be safe with what you put in your body.
100%.
Let's see here, you guys. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Thanks for getting the chat going, asking questions. So again, Marianne, you're not really familiar with the Twitch platform. What the Twitch platform is like. Some people are like, "Oh my goodness, an hour and a half. That's a really long time." Well, on Twitch, we were talking about it's gaming, right? So the longer the streams, the more people pop in. So usually you'll start seeing people pop in about an hour in, but like to get real, like a lot of folks chiming in, you have to stream for like 2 to 3 hours, and I don't expect a non-seasoned streamer to hang out for
Like,
that
what are we
long.
doing tonight?
Well, right, smoking a lot of weed on stream. That's what's going down.
Yes, this is a great first introduction, and I'm really excited. I'm
Oh,
gonna go find some. Yep,
awesome.
I'll go find these other channels and track and subscribe so I can get more familiar. I'm really excited about this about Twitch.
Yeah. So like my thing is like so I use it for advocacy, right? And I would love to get to take my talk shows on the road and start like and go to all the recreational states and just like see the culture, talk about the culture, do interviews like this. Like I would love to do something like that. So that's eventually like the goal, the hope, the plan. And I know you said that so sometimes too we even get some international viewers in here too. So we love talking to them. I've had like a couple weeks ago, we had someone from Germany and then someone from Alabama hit the same kind of smoking utensil, hitting a ball vape at the same time during my stream. So I thought that was fun. So it's just really cool to see what kind of things can happen through Twitch. Again, Twitch is a really great platform for cannabis. I feel like if you aren't utilizing it or advertising with someone that's on Twitch and you have, internet or website visibility, an online presence, then you're kind of missing out. Like there's a ton of us out here. So I'm excited for you to check it out. And I'm always so happy to like show people and tell people about it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I am excited too. It's awesome. So it's cool. Talking about international stuff, we were in the Netherlands last summer
Oh,
and it was fun going into one of their coffee shop dispensaries and seeing what things are like in the Netherlands. It was
what's it
so
like?
cool.
Like you just go in and they have it's just, they like, yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, it's like the one that we went into in Amsterdam was kind of like a mini dispensary. It was mostly joints. Um, and uh yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was a little bit confusing because they categorize them a totally different way. We've got the some people talk about the terpenes, the indica, sativa, and I remember they asked me questions. I'm like, huh? I don't really even know what you're asking me, but okay, I
Okay.
want that one and that one. So I could see how um it was fun. I want to go back and experience, explore some more, but it's eye-opening how different it is in different countries.
Right. And how they like have the image of it or how they treat it. And yeah, I bet it is pretty interesting.
Mhm,
Their cultural
for sure.
usage.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, is there anything else that you want to know? You want to talk about? Questions? You got a few minutes to get them in. I'm going to do the thing. If you guys also, if you want to check out Alibi, hang on, I have to always go Alibi. So if you want to, um, it's the only thing, right? I know I got to go to out of international to go do what I want to do. Cannabis hospitality the right way. You guys, if you've enjoyed tonight's show, please consider contributing to the stream by either following, liking, subbing, sharing, checking out. Unfortunately, your link won't go through because I have links blocked. But if they go to your general website, can they find your merch? I have that link for the your actual
Yep,
website. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so yeah. So again, you guys,
Yep.
her logo will be on my about page for the rest of the year. So anytime you guys want to go check out her website, check out information on her, you just go check on the pretty smoking fairy on my about page, or you just type in explanation point alibi and you'll take her to your website. So you guys, with that said, Marianne, do you have any closing or final thoughts for us?
No, just thanks for having me. It's been great. It's been great chatting and thanks for hanging out with me.
No problem. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule on this busy week.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And keep doing what you're doing. We think it's great. We loved hearing about it. And you'll be able to find this. I'll probably go actually edit this one and take out some of the glitching, hopefully. So this one will be up in the next couple days. Or tonight. We'll see what it looks like. We'll see what it looks like. You guys chat. Thanks again for stopping by, you guys. Catch another hers next week. We're streaming Saturdays the next day. We're streaming because I work on 420 for Juana. Let's go. All right, you guys. Thanks again, Marianne. Have a great night.
Okay, good night. Bye.